Good morning. Hi, happy Monday. It's me, Alex, the stay-at-home reader. I am coming to you with bedhead and pajamas because I was up too early. And I haven't yet decided what sort of energy level I'm going to have today. So, still in the PJs. But I finished some books recently. And I want to let you know about them. So, first of all, The Anomaly. Both of these books I was kind of getting started or like getting rolling on in my last weekend reading vlog, which I think was like 2 weeks ago now. But yeah, these books both took me a while to get through. The Anomaly by Hervé Letellier. This is about what is reality? What is the human existence? Are we a simulation? Are there parallel universes? This book is a bit of a mindfuck. But as science fiction-y as it is, it's very literary, or like trying to be very literary. To the point where I found a lot of it a little bit obnoxious. I did skim parts of it, and here's why. So the premise is that there are passengers on an international flight, and they pass through a storm, and they plummet, and they, just the storm lasts for, X amount of time. And they land, and they go about their lives, and so it's not really chapters, but there's different like dated sections of the book, each with like a character name. And we're following the character after the flight for the beginning of the book. And they all kind of mention like this awful flight that they've been on. Other than being passengers on the same flight, the characters have nothing to do with each other. Eventually, we get to a point where we are on the plane, and it's describing the turbulence. That was written like I had like shivers. Like I'm not a fan of flying, not a fan of planes. I haven't been on a plane in 13 years. I don't know when I will again. Sorry to my husband, who wants to travel across country. I say let's drive. Anyway, so the scenes on the airplane going through the storm are really, really intense. Really exciting. They caught my attention and got me back invested in the book. So then the pilot is... So they get through the storm, and all of a sudden the sky opens up, and it goes from the storm to like a clear blue sky. They've made it. Now he's radioing in and saying, okay, we made, like, we're here, can I land? And he's getting a lot of like, who is this? Repeat the flight number. Like, can you, like, what's your name again? And what was your birthday? And, just a lot of, questioning about his, like, wait, who are you? What flight? And he thinks he's being pranked because he's told that they're going to be jets. Like, he can't land in JFK. There's going to be jets escorting him to a hangar in New Jersey. That's like an Air Force hangar, government hangar, whatever. And he's like, oh, ha ha, like he's going to be retiring. So he thinks this is a prank. And then he notices like the 2 jets escorting the plane. And he's been told like any evasive maneuvers or like failure to comply, he will be shot down. And then he's like, shit, what the hell is going on? So, this is the second time that exact plane with those same passengers is landing. So, oh, I didn't mention each little character section that we get, like their story, their perspective. I believe they're still all in third person, this omniscient voice, and they're remembering this flight, and then they're all being approached by someone who's like, are you so-and-so? The so-and-so who was on the flight from France to New York in March. You're going to have to come with us. So all these people are getting rounded up and brought to the same place where they just had the plane land. So now there's doubles of most people, not quite everyone. And there's a time difference. It is now June, and the people who were on this plane the second time it requests to land still think it's March. So that's the setup of the book. And then there's a lot of kind of like philosophical and scientific discussion about like what could possibly happen, like in the case of string theory, realities could have been overlapping, creating a wormhole, or maybe, you know, nothing is real and we're all a simulation. So I didn't like that explanation. But it brings up a lot of like, so then what's the point of existence? And, oh my gosh, the other day, maybe a week ago, my 12-year-old asked me pretty much that question. He's like, is there a reason for everything existing? And I'm like, sure. He's like, you know, like birds eat the bugs and the bugs pollinate the plants, and like everything's kind of connected. Like there's a reason for everything. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, yeah. He goes, so then what's our purpose? Like, why are we here? Why do we exist? Like, to ruin everything? And I was like, damn, dark. Yes. So, yeah, weird conversation with the kid. Kind of tied into this, but this was long. The like individual character stuff got boring real fast. I only cared about the scenes that were on the plane or directly after the plane lands and the government trying to figure out like, what do we do with these people now? Like, how did this happen? What's the next step? What does this mean? Those conversations, like those kind of more action scenes, in the more present tense, those were the good parts. Also, so this was written in, I think it was released in French in 2020 and then the English translation in 2021. So it must have been, you know, written before that, when the United States still had a certain president. And so that is the president in this book. And there's a bit of dry humor at his expense, like when he's being briefed on the situation and all the scientists and religious figures are trying to like tell him what their council has kind of decided or is theorizing, and he just interjects with the most like inane stupid comments, and everyone's just like, okay, moving on. So I found that hilarious. 'Cause that's what we are to other countries now. America isn't that great. Rating, I don't remember when I landed on this, you know, as far as a star rating, it was like maybe a 2.5, which is not great, but it's, you know, right there in the middle, because there were things that I liked, things that I didn't. It was too long. The tone was a little arrogant and masculine. The writing style just wasn't for me. It was kind of meta, and like there's a character who was one of the passengers on the plane who is an author, and he writes a book called The Anomaly. And so I couldn't quite tell if like it just happens to have the same title as the book we're reading, or if the book we're reading is supposed to be that book that he got famous and he's kind of written himself into it. Like I couldn't quite tell what the author was trying to do with that bit. Yeah. You know, when things are like meant to be like intellectual and real thinky, and they just come off a little bit douchey instead. This like was back and forth of like, okay, obnoxious, and like, interesting, thought-provoking. Like, okay, maybe talk less, sir. Maybe write less. I don't know if you follow my point, my feelings, those, yeah, I haven't written any formal review for this one or posted on my Instagram. I like reaction better than review because I'm not a professional book reviewer. So like, this is my raw take. This is my reaction to this book is, I don't know. Some of it worked for me. Some of it didn't work for me. The ending, just like Kevy said, was like, excuse me, what? I kind of love it. I kind of hate it. It was very like, oh shit. There was a part in here reading that had me like gasp and like, oh no, out loud. And my husband was like, oh, calm down, ma'am. It's a book. But I'm just kidding. No, he gets it. He gets it. Because then I'm like, drop everything. And like, I need to tell you what I just read. And he's like, oh, wow. Yeah. Weird. Crazy. Crazy girl. Yeah, I didn't sleep enough. Can you tell? I'm a little all over the place. The Anomaly by Hervé Letellier. I learned about this book from Kevy. Mentioned it in that last weekend reading vlog. Never would have heard of it anywhere else, and so thank you, Kevy. That was fun. I think that sounded harsh, but you know what? I like reading things that wouldn't be on my radar, that I don't see on Instagram, I don't see on YouTube. Like, you know, they're not big buzzy books, and so yeah, that was fun. That was fun to read something that no one is really talking about, and I can totally just make my own opinion and reaction without a lot of influence, you know? So that was fun. The other read I just finished last night was this: Jesus and John Wayne, how white evangelicals corrupted a faith and fractured a nation. Introduction right away is like, how the hell did Donald Trump happen? How did we get to this point? Like, how did that guy become the president for people who call themselves Christians, right? What does it mean to be Christian? What's happening? So, was this the most engaging writing style? No. Was it the most boring nonfiction I've ever picked up? No. The important takeaways from this is that there's a difference between like traditional, official evangelical Christianity and what we consider today to be evangelical. Like, it's practically a curse word for me, like a bad one, because you know I enjoy curses, I enjoy bad language, but I mean, like, when I think evangelical, it's just a bad taste, a bad connotation, and that's more of a contemporary culture moment that is quite detached from the traditional Christian group. And it's more accurate to consider them like there's a difference, like white evangelical specifically, these Christian nationalists. It's actually different. And so funnily enough, as I was on TikTok, kind of losing my mind early this morning, I ended up on a profile. Okay, so I started here with this stitch.
With the death of a baby, there is no policy that I approve of that ends with the murder of children. And
with as much disrespect as I can possibly manage, fuck your goddamn approval. Approve?
Which then took me to the original posters page, because I was like disgusted and curious, and then saw that he tagged and was calling out for a theology discussion this other TikTok creator person profile called The New Evangelicals. I don't know. Again, I'll have it. Let's put it here.
And the second part really came when Trump got elected in 2016. I could not believe that my evangelical tradition was backing someone like that.
And I really liked what he had to say, because I feel like walking away from this book, he kind of, sums up how it ends here. Hold on. Conclusion. Let me find, like, it's the very last line. Okay. All right. Although the evangelical cult of masculinity stretches back decades, its emergence was never inevitable. Over the years, it has been embraced, amplified, challenged, and resisted. Evangelical men themselves have promoted alternative models, elevating gentleness and self-control, a commitment to peace, and a divestment of power as expressions of authentic Christian manhood. Yet understanding the catalyzing role of militant Christian masculinity has played over the past half-century is critical to understanding American evangelicalism today and the nation's fractured political landscape. Appreciating how this ideology developed over time is essential for those who wish to dismantle it. What was once done might also be undone. So that very last line, what was once done can also be undone. So that's all notes, the footnotes. Like, so there's a lot of research here. This is basically going decade by decade, practically president by president, the rise of like evangelical celebrities, you know, these like mega churches and authors, movie stars who are more focused on presenting an idea of Christianity rooted in male supremacy, rooted in American dominance, having a trigger happy, aggressive military, straying from that pussified image of Jesus with long flowing hair and clean white robes. Like, no, we want a muscular riding a horse into battle image of Jesus. That, I mean, I grew up in a Catholic church. So I don't align with a lot of Catholicism in my life today. Like, just no thank you to religion at all. I am familiar with the Bible and what is supposed to be the morality and virtues that we would consider Christ-like. And these white evangelicals, these American nationalists, for Christian America, it doesn't really seem like they actually give a fuck about being Christ-like. They care more about power, about the men being alpha and the women being submissive, and that's where we are today. Anyway, I feel like I have a better understanding of motivations and how a minority can just make so much noise that they kind of cloud the general perception of reality. Like, so concerned with their own dominance that they don't give a shit about anyone else. Yeah, loving thy neighbor, the like basic tenet of following the word of Christ. That's weak. They want nothing to do with it. No. So anyway, this book is not too academic. It's engaging enough. It's a little dry. There's a lot of names that there's no way I can keep them straight. A lot of groups and churches and scandals. And so, you know, if there's a quiz at the end, I don't know how well I would do, but overall, the progression of the book takes you on this journey decade by decade, how values changed, how voices have been amplified, what scandals have, you know, leaders kind of turned a blind eye to. So yeah, just as like an overall ride, I feel like I got a lot out of this book, as far as like like retaining every detail. It's not gonna happen. But recommend John Wayne, the worst. My father loves John Wayne. His son, I think at like age 2 or 3, was like John Wayne for Halloween. I was pretty appalled. Dad, don't do that. Could stop. Yeah. Recommend. Maybe recommend. I recommend skimming through this. But I'm definitely looking forward to picking up more me. Literary fiction, speculative. I'm starting The Island of Missing Trees. Started that one. I wanted to get these two like done before I like really dive into that. So that's it. Okay. Thanks for putting up with this rambly video, and I will see you sometime. Bye.